from that time next week to conclude this conversation. I want to thank all of you. And without further ado, let me welcome my big brother. I know he's a very, very busy man. He's very much.
I'm never too busy for you. Today, you know that.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to do a brief intro. As that intro is necessary anyway. He's a face that most people know. He's very, very well known. I'm going to talk of a part of him that quite not even know of. So as for those who are just getting to know him, this is Mr. Abass, TIJANI, the one who is popularly called DJ Abass, the world-renowned DJ Abass. He's a UK-based. In fact, I hate that description, UK-based events, because really, he's not a UK-based events person. He's an international events person. He handles, I know he does undo quite a lot of media things in Nigeria at the states, at the government, private and companies as well. He's a media and entertainment consultant. He's a broadcaster, and of course, he's a very much in demand MC, and he's the CEO of is the CEO of DJAMEDIA, and of course their handles across social media is just simply DJAMEDIA UK, so which is a leading self-contained independent media and events consultancy company specializing in first-class entertainment, events management, and full media campaigns for targeted demographics within the Nigerian and African communities. So it is my pleasure tonight to welcome into our midst DJ Abass. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. And first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for not being here at the advertised time. It was due to a mix-up, and I think that mix-up will end between me and Tunde from today. Tunde has one of my numbers. I have one, and sadly he has the one which is actually my private number, which is the one he calls me on most of the time. And just on the off chance, I just checked and I realized he had sent, because I was wondering, are we still in UK Nigeria time? But that was my error, and I do apologize for the lateness. And thanks for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my big brother. And today we're going to be discussing a topic still on our theme of national transformation. And the sub-theme for today is deploying showbiz and entertainment as a tool of mass employment, economic growth, and development. And of course, when we start looking at the GDP of many countries, and you look at the part that entertainment actually plays, and you look at things like Grammys, you consider things like the BAFTA Awards. Recently, I saw the way Burna Boy was celebrated, and in Nigeria, Wizkid, and I actually read the governor of Rivers State, where Burna Boy actually hails from, even though he's a Yoruba. You don't even know whether he was born in.
He's 50-50. His dad is from Rivers State and his mom is Yoruba.
Thank you so much, sir. And I believe he grew up in Fela's tribe. He's more or less Fela's.
His granddad, Benson Idonije, was Fela's first manager in Nigeria.
Wow. Thank you so much for that information, sir. But the governor of the state celebrated it the way, and in Nigeria, football used to be the highest employer of labor. All the kids from Ajebule, the Amunekes and Co, they all somehow football took them out of the slums into international limelight and provided for their families and their generations. But in recent times, music, really, entertainment, don't let me just say music, entertainment, the Nollywood, the music industry, now you have a lot of people who have actually risen to stardom, and even when you consider the story of the man that a lot of people hate and a lot of people love to like, the Naira Marley that they call it.
Another UK Nigerian product?
Absolutely, sir. You check his background as well, you just know this is someone who has come from grass to grace by the sheer virtue, by the sheer platform of entertainment, So, and that is why we're discussing this. And there's no other person. For me, I believe two of the greatest DJs to have come out of Nigeria. I remember when we were small, we used to hear about DJ Abass, and then the next DJ you hear about DJ, it was because of radio. DJ Abass hasn't done much of radio to the best of my knowledge. He's taking the UK scene by storm. But before we go into the topic today, permit me to reveal another nickname that a lot of people do not know about you. Only a few of us know. You're called Platini. Yes. Just about the name Platini.
Well, that was actually a nickname I adopted during my university days at the Ondo State University, which is now the a.k.a. State University. And basically, I got that nickname because I played football. Football was my thing. Ironically, I was not actually an attacker. I was a midfielder. So, but the name Platini stuck. And when I hear Platini, I know it's people from my university days.
Thank you so much. And sorry, most times I hardly call him DJ Abass. If we're exchanging, I just go Bros Platini. I love it. So thank you so much, sir. So, sir, now let us look at your background in the entertainment industry and what you have seen over the years, the growth pattern, the way things have gone from musicians being snared at. In the country where I come from, they will say they're called Alagbes, so entertainers, not just musicians alone, entertainers, those in the media, who are in the social media platform, those in the music industry, those in Nollywood and everything, because we know you cover quite a lot of all this. And in Nigeria right now, there's quite a lot of unemployment and underemployment as well. Let's try to trace your journey, sir, and see how from when you came from, I believe, in the days when people like, was it Dudu, Undenyi and Co, were some of the entertainers that we got to know, till now that, of course, we now have quite a lot of self-contained, quote and unquote, entertainers. How would you see the growth of the entertainment industry in Nigeria from the time when you started, sir?
I always like to use myself as an example when I get the opportunity to be on platforms like this to talk about entertainment or the creative industry. The Nigerian creative industry or the Nigerian economy was rebased a few years ago, and it was then they discovered that outside of oil, the creative industry was the next highest earner. Nobody knew that before then. And I would have thought that on the back of such a revelation, any progressive government, would have realized that, look, what are the major problems? Nigeria has a population where half the population are under the age of 21. And if you're looking at the way the world is going now economically, that is meant to be a massive advantage. We have the workforce. In the absence of work for those people, when they are at their most viral, at their strongest, they will resort to other means. So that explains some of the, some of the crimes, particular set of crimes that are going on in Nigeria right now, because they are unemployed. Having said that, though, even in the midst of that madness, you have young people. Look at the internet. Look at entertainment. The entertainment sector in Nigeria, music, movies, comedy, has evolved out of nothing. And I actually find it very ironic when I see government celebrating our stars. Stars they played very, very little help or role in developing. Young Nigerian youths are not asking for money. They are just asking for an enabling environment. Let me use my example. I finished university in 1990. Came over to the UK the year after. I worked for just over a year at The Guardian. Though I was freelance for a few years, but then I was in full-time employment with The Guardian, writing politics, sports, and entertainment. Writing the entertainment then brought me in contact with all those that matter in the entertainment industry in Nigeria. So be it club promoters, DJs, artists, who were the big names back in the day. You had your Majek Fashek, you had your Sashino Peters, you had or your now Pastor Chris Okotie, DZK Falola, Mike Okri. That group, that was the set I left when I was living in Nigeria in 1991. Those were the hot names. And it's not any different from now, They are now the legends of today. And I came over to the UK, and between you and I, there was really no plan.
Hmm.
Plan it was I was not an economic migrant. I was born in this country, but the fact is, a lot of my friends. I was 23. A lot of my friends then, it was almost like a trend. We finished university, wanted to see the world. So I just came over to the UK, some went over to the States. And the whole plan was just to come to the UK, maybe spend a few years, and go back to Nigeria like most of our parents did. But arriving in the UK and you realize you don't have a plan, what you just realize that at times you start to gravitate towards something that comes naturally to you. And there was that there the second half of my journey to entertainment started, you know, and I started DJing at small events within the Nigerian community, you know, and I realized that what I was earning for my one gig as a DJ on the weekend was much more than what I was earning for a whole week in my regular initial job. And I just realized that, okay, after a few weeks and a few months, I left my original job and I then stuck to DJing and then playing at gigs on Saturdays, then led into now playing some small venues apart from the private parties. And within a 3, 4 year cycle, I had 2 or 3 venues I was playing, plus my Saturday events. And I was earning an income that was more than enough, doing what I like to do, doing what I enjoyed as a DJ, and more importantly, strictly within the Nigerian community. So I wasn't playing in Oyinbo clubs. I was not playing in central London. I was playing within the Nigerian community. Now, what were the natural advantages I had? At the time, being a diaspora, there were not many of us at that time. Maybe we were no more than 20 or 25. Now, people say, oh, 2025, that's a lot. But then if you look at the Nigerian numbers in the UK, well, we are the largest gathering of black people in the UK and are Nigerians, And not just that, we are very dynamic and active people. So back in the day, we do a lot of house parties, we do stuff like that. But I was in close contact with my people, doing what I like to do and earning money. Now, what did the UK afford me? It afforded me an enabling environment. I find it's odd that you see over the last 1, 2 years, suddenly because there was a time during my this year makes it my 30th year in the UK. November this year will make it 30 years since I've been in the UK. In that period, we've had different, there's been a different global view of Nigerians, particularly diasporans. So we've moved from, oh, they're just economic my immigrants to 419ers to now the new look, which is like, oh, Nigerian diasporans or immigrants are the most sought after. You go in America, they're ranked the number one immigrant community in America for jobs and earnings. And same thing in the UK, same thing is happening in Canada. They are poaching Nigerian professionals from Nigeria. If you look at the health sector in Nigeria officially, as at 4 years ago, had 72,000 registered doctors, half of whom are not working in Nigeria. I repeat that 72,000 doctors, half of whom are not working in Nigeria. They're working in different parts of the world. What does that tell you? It tells you that the Nigerian product is a ready-made product. But in the apps, but they would not thrive in an environment that is not conducive. It is those same set of Nigerians that leave Nigeria that come over here. And before you know it, they are being taken into the cabinet by President Biden. Before you know it, they are working at number 10. Before you know it, the irony of this Nigerian, I was on my shows I do, I have an online event I do every Friday. And one of the conversations we had recently was about medical tourism. One of the ironies of ironies is a lot of our government officials that leave Nigeria that come to the UK for medical treatment, they end up in the hands of Nigerians who were once in Nigeria but had to leave Nigeria because the environment did not enable them to thrive. That is the greatest irony in the world. Those same nights. So it's always about your environment. I say that all the time. Now let's come back to the topic of the day, entertainment. We've realized that, and once again, I always like to use myself as an example. Like I say, um, I'm 53, and for anybody in their between the ages of 45 and above, will probably understand the story that in Nigeria, in the first generation cinema industry in Nigeria, we all grew up on Chinese and Indian films. In fact, when I came to the UK and I started having a handful of Indian friends or friends from Asia, they were usually surprised when I would mention all the top Indian stars from the day: Gabbar Singh, Dharmendra, Emma Malane, Mithun Chakraborty. We saw all those films. I didn't watch them in New Delhi. I watched them in Nigeria. You get it? What am I trying to say? And or you talk about Chinese films. We didn't have to leave Nigeria, but those countries sold their culture to us through entertainment. What is America selling to the world today? Soft power. Okay, we have hard power, we have arms, ammunition, and all that, but then there's soft power. Soft power is very, very powerful. The irony of soft power is Nigeria is actually positioned to be the number one, not just African nation, black nation in the world to sell itself. All the indices are there to see. We have Nollywood, second largest film industry in the world for volume. We have our music. Right now, if you look at 9 out of 10 factors that sell us globally, it's either in music or in movies, something from the creative sector. That is what is selling us. But in order for us to be able to fully maximize the potential of that, certain things need to be in place because the numbers are there, the talent is there. How do we start to enable the environment? The last 1 year, my last physical gig as a DJ was March 14 last year. In fact, it became a year this month. Last time I played physically. But from May 29th last year till now, I've been running an online event called the Inner Caucus, and I have a few people on this platform right now who are members. And the only reason why that has been possible is because, first, I have affordable and available internet services. It's available and it's affordable. And that is the only reason why I have been able to move my operations from being a DJ that would play in venues physically to online. Now I have a regular event every Friday. That's in its 45th week. And on the back of that, now we'll manage Zoom events for people, virtual events for people. On the back of that, we have other private events we do during the lockdown. In fact, I get about 10% turnout from Nigeria. And I know it would be a whole lot more if in the internet services were first available and affordable. And imagine a situation where the internet was open and is available for a lot of young Nigerians. Not only entertainers would benefit, young people, Nigerians are some of this. In fact, I dare say Nigerians are the smartest people in the world. We think, we act. Just give them an enabling. They're not asking for money. Give them an enabling environment, and you'll be shocked to see what happens. So, entertainment as a tool for development for young people it's a no-brainer. It's there, particularly when they are that age. But the environment must be ready. Those who are in charge of making these policies, they must be ready. First, they need to be aware. They need to know what's happening. They need to know what time it is. And it's when they can do that that we can move forward to that proverbial next level we talk about. I think I will just stop at that for now. I'm sure you might want to. I hope that has answered sufficiently the first half of the question you asked. You need to unmute yourself again, sir.
Hey, I could actually listen to you on and on, DJ Abass, and I'm so happy that we've got quite a lot of people in the house as well, and the chat on social media is actually very so, and we do experience this, especially when the guests that come in are very much well known out there as well and in high demand. And you actually touched. I'm going to try to cut this session as short as possible because I'm kind of suspecting that there are loads of people on this call who want to ask you questions, and we're going to take questions on social media. Now, you did make mention of government celebrating, trying to claim artists, entertainers, let's put it that way. It did nothing to actually to actually help, you know, to actually become
create that enabling environment.
Now, you talked about data in Nigeria, the internet connection. You talked about even at times on a WhatsApp call. So, you know, when you're speaking with someone on video, it becomes very unstable. They have to switch to audio alone. So you just know the bandwidth is so poor. And of course, electricity, all the things that they need. But from your, assuming tomorrow somebody calls you and says, you know what, the special advisor to the president on the creative industry, that how can, because really Nigeria, oil is a declining asset.
Oil is dead.
Yes, Nigeria does not really stay at the level that is sufficient to help our GDP. So that leaves us with look, and you mentioned India. You know, I've also worked with Indians, as you're aware, and you know, every time I talked about their movies and everything, and you see that even the Nigerian industry, it never really came up because they were initially trying to base everything on the Indian industry, on original. Now, if you found yourself in that position, what are those things that you believe that government, or that you would, as a special advisor to maybe the president or so, on the creative industry, what are those things that you think we need to do in order for that industry to be able to employ a lot more people and to be able to generate the kind of, you know, GDP growth for our country?
First and foremost, the most difficult task has already been solved by the practitioners, because Nollywood has developed itself to a point. Now, first and foremost, and same thing with the music industry. The first thing is you need to protect your assets. How do you protect your assets? Today, Nigeria is the second highest producer of movies outside of Bollywood, because America is actually behind Nigeria for volume. Outside of Bollywood, it's Nigeria. But how well has that industry been protected? No administration in Nigeria, state or federal, to my knowledge, has wholeheartedly come out to help protect this industry. Today we talk about the Oscars, we talk about the Grammys, see how we celebrate all those awards. Today, as we speak in Nigeria, we don't even have big-time recognizable awards any longer like we used to. We have the headies for music. We actually have none at that level for film. You know, though you have the AMA, which is actually also being convened by a Nigerian, but then that's like an African award. So, but if you speak with them, they will probably tell you the problem they have as well. Piracy. Let's start with piracy in the film industry. The Nigerians, as a people, are still not still don't know what intellectual property means. So what happens? You have people who will now go out and reproduce the work of some of movie producers, and then they start selling in traffic. That is theft. But if you don't protect them, how would they make money? So 90 to 95% of their earnings are going into the pockets of those who have not invested in it. And there's nothing government is doing. You know, if you try to do that in the UK or the US, you know what, you're joking with jail time. So if today I make the essay, but I know, see, everything in Nigeria is politicized, you know, and it's gotten to the point that once you start to play politics, at times it becomes difficult for you to address the problem in the absence of real political will, you know. But really, there's a problem. Like if you look at the film sector, there's piracy going on in different zones of Nigeria. We all know where these things are happening, and when you don't curb that, it impinges on the income of and the same thing for music as well. Now, in the recent years that a lot of things have gone online, some of them have been able to, you know, get some funds, some of their money back. But the fact remains that in the Nigerian space, more people today still watch films on DVD in Nigeria. More people still watch films on VCD. And the overwhelming number of those VCDs, they're pirated. So you don't protect your industry. I would liken that to somebody just driving down to NMPC depot and shooting or killing 4 of the guards and taking tankers of oil and driving out. That is what I like. There's no difference. It is theft. And government is meant to protect. But they don't. Do you know how sad I feel? On average of every 3 or 4 months, you will see movie makers or musicians come out and say, "Oh, please help us. So one of our veterans is ill. You know, he's got kidney disease. We need to raise money for him." In an industry that should be self-sustaining. Really. We have enough eyeballs, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa. We have eyeballs globally for our practitioners to be able to feed off whatever they're doing. But that is not happening. And now at every stage when they have an illness, because people say, "Oh, why don't they set up an insurance scheme?" But do they even have enough? So if I was to be made an essay to any state governor or any federal or to the president, we know where the problem lies. But do we have the political will to take it on? Really, you need to protect the creative industry needs to be protected, and that is not existing right now. The creative bodies themselves, amongst themselves, they have their challenges. You know, look into music right now. As of the last time I checked, there's one collection society, and we see the hell that's going on there. You know, but then we need to have at least 2 or 3. So there's competition. So that all the artists, before they sign up, they'll know what have they been doing to help us collect our royalties. So if every song, every Waiting Day, or every song by Davido that's played on radio, it's guaranteed that for every song that's played on radio, that radio station is paying a percentage of that income. That's what collection societies do. Collect the money on their behalf and give it to them. That needs to be taken care of. So imagine a situation where you're curbing piracy for the movie producers, you're curbing you're developing the collection societies for the musicians. You know, the comedians are doing great, obviously, because they can actually go out and do their stuff on stage, but then they also produce material they put onto DVD, they put onto audio platforms. You know, all that needs to be protected. So you need to protect. If you own anything that you see value in, you protect it. I don't think our government still understand and see the value in the creative sector. And it actually peeves me when I see a Nigerian entertainer succeed or win a big global award, and then they're all falling over themselves to celebrate that particular act. Now that's medicine after death. No, trust me, you can put that energy into, so you know, just do the simple things. I would say just do the simple things. Do the simple things, and you'll be surprised the magic that can happen.
Wow. Thank you so much, DJ Abass. I really, I love the fact that you have kept it really very simple, and you know, for anybody who is outside the industry can actually, it's like you've opened that window and you said, look through. Even though people do accuse the industry as well of misdemeanors. For example, you do go on YouTube quite a lot of times, and you see these adverts. You see, you see Jonah Webs and featuring DJ Abass, and then it's that DJ Abass that makes, because look, there are thousands of movies there, so, and you don't have all the time in the world, so you just want, you know, those that have easily recognized stars there. So you click on it, and it turned out to be a movie from 1994. Nothing to do with the title you've given it.
Those are not practitioners. Those are pirates. They are pirates. That's exactly what I'm saying. They're opportunists.
But DJ, sir, you see it on the main channels, on the, what are those channels on the main channels that show Nigerian movie on YouTube?
No. You see, and this is what I'm trying to correct. You see, when that word you use, main channel, I think what you're just trying to do is reference their size. But that's how big the madness has become. And that's why you think they are the main channels. We know the legitimate channels on YouTube that actually pay for content. They buy content and they pay for it. My company manages a lot of UK premieres for Nollywood films. Many. I'm sure you've been to a few yourself. And what happens producers in Nigeria reach out to us. They have this hit movie from Nigeria and they want to break into the market in the UK. They come to us and we help them put it out. Part of what we do at times is also monitor YouTube, because once this comes out, what do pirates do? If there's a big film out there, what they now do is try to use the traffic from the hype of that film to push their own products. So what they do is they now create posters and then put the name of your movie and then load it onto YouTube. Now, we all know how YouTube pays them, because YouTube's algorithms is set in such a way that it's the numbers, amount of views. So they use your name to generate views. That's what they do. You know, they use your name to generate traffic and generate views. Now, how do you police that? That's another monster YouTube is trying to deal with. Successfully, we've been able to remove a lot of films, particularly the movies we work with. We successfully remove them, because part of our job is to go online and check that. But that is not coming from movie people. They are pirates. Those are the people they call pirates. They are rogues. They are thieves. And we try and encourage a lot of people not to go there, you know. But however, how do you? It's a losing battle in terms of telling people not to go there. Ultimately, people want to see a movie. They want to see a movie, you know.
No,
But these are
DJ,
thieves.
yes, I don't think it's a losing battle, because you
No,
would.
no. The losing battle is trying to stop them. That's what I mean.
Say to a large extent, with your knowledge of who I am, that I am techie to some extent, and even as techie, quote and unquote, as I actually thought I was before you made that statement, you've just declared online that I've been fooled again and again.
Indeed.
If I think I'm techie and I fall into that trap, what about loads and loads of others?
That's a challenge.
Because
that is a challenge.
All I look for is just those channels. And then I go like, oh, these are the main channels. So I've subscribed. I've got like 5, 6 of them loaded. So all I want to watch are the things that
the ones you subscribe, anyone you subscribe to. And I don't mean by the click subscribe on YouTube, or like I don't want to be mentioning names, but there are movie platforms online that you go on, that what they do is sell Nollywood. They actually buy content legitimately from producers, and then they load it onto their page and sell to their subscribers. Yes, you have Iroko TV, they do that. You have Ibaka, they do that. That's what they do. But then you have some as well. You don't subscribe, they only feed off income they get from YouTube. And then they just load films there. Now, I know it's very, very difficult for the general public that may not be as discerning as we are, but that's a separate battle, you know. Now, it is similar to the battle of selling the DVDs and the VCDs physically, but that's actually a lot more. That's a bigger battle, because that's the one that actually reaches. Sadly, the overwhelming majority of Nigerians, the vast majority, still watch movies on DVD or VCD. Many don't understand those stats, but that's still what happens, you know. So you have the legitimate distributors, but also you have the pirates, and it's killing the industry.
Thank you so much. I'm going to just ask you one more question, because I'm very mindful of we have quite a lot. We have many people in the room tonight. Some, even those who are dropping off are returning. I'm mindful that I give them room to be able to ask questions, and we're going to take 2 questions from you as well. So what I'll ask is, there's somebody out there who's looking. Who said, can I walk the same that DJ Abass walked? That person will probably say DJ Abass was born a citizen. That made his life easier. They will say they were born maybe a Mauritian or a Nigerian citizen. And they walk this path and make it this industry? Because of course the industry it's we've seen a lot of people. We've seen people like Baba Salah of old. We've heard of people like Baba Wande of old, who went to borrow heavily and who almost died. In fact, some of them, yes, they wrecked them financially. And of course, during the week, we heard about Wizkid and Wizkid.
Wizkid.
And the guy, the only reason we eventually got to know was the guy was foolish enough to now start tweeting about his achievements, quote and unquote. We never knew he's been feeding off Wizkid. So how can someone who is watching this tonight, an upcoming person who wants to succeed in this industry, in the creative industry, but wants to avoid all these pitfalls, how can they make it?
Once again, I use myself as an example. First things first, I love entertainment. Any sphere or arm of entertainment, I enjoy. That's the first thing. You must have that passion. And I know that's been overflogged by so many other, when you get over any kind of conversations, oh, you have to have passion. Yeah, the passion must be first because that is actually the driving force. Once the passion is there. Now, we all went into it with a passion, all of us. I started out as a DJ, and that was my first. I didn't start out as a DJ, I started out as an entertainment reporter with The Guardian in Nigeria. And then coming over to the UK now, I started as a DJ. But when I traced my journey, I realized that I've done quite a few other things in entertainment. So I started as a DJ, and then I became an event promoter, and then I became a broadcaster, talking about entertainment, and then I became a media marketing consultant. So I do quite a few things, and I've kept all those hats because they're all kind of like are interwoven and they work together. First, there has to be the passion. Secondly, beyond your skill in entertainment, one important skill you also need to learn and add is how to make money in entertainment. It's a different skill entirely. And they won't teach you that in school, sadly. They'll tell you some of the basic things to do. But you see, entertainment, how you deal with it varies from communities to communities. Now, remember, I built my entertainment career outside of Nigeria, but within my community. Outside of Nigeria, within the Nigerian community. And then that spread into the African community and beyond. It was from inside out. So when you're a DJ, to earn money from that is pretty straightforward. You want me to play for you, pay me. That's pretty straightforward. But then you have to build that brand as well. Build the brand. Everybody wants to align with the brand. To build a brand takes time. There's so many things that need to be in place as you're building your brand. You need to be dependable. You need to be doing the right, if you're a DJ, do it right. What are the boxes that you need to tick to be a DJ? Have you been able to identify your audience? And that's another thing. So people struggle to identify your audience. For me, it was Nigeria from day one. Just that Nigerian audience, that was my focus. And if you look at my path, and that's what I've followed all through. And some will say, oh, he only does Nigeria. I say, yes, we are a powerhouse. We are a powerhouse. It's a no-brainer. We have the numbers, we have the wherewithal in terms of income. Why not? So find out what they want and keep adding on to that. A lot of people in entertainment, particularly young people, go in entertainment with just the passion, but very soon they realize that they need that same passion of knowing how to earn the money as well. So if you want to say, for my own path right now, first I started as a DJ, and then at one point I had to learn how to become a promoter for my own events. Because once you now start to promote your own events, that quadruples, triples or quadruples the income you make as just a DJ. Now, when you now if you add media to it, that can actually now double whatever you make as a promoter. Because now you're not just a promoter alone right now. You can now reach out to, where those numbers are, and you can reach out to them at any point. And so my journey has been such, and then at some point now, because I did it so regularly, I now became a face in my community, not just as a DJ, but somebody like a community person they can reach out to. So I have a lot of brands that actually come to me that when they need to reach out to the Nigerian community in the UK, I'm normally first on their books. And why is that? Because they followed my journey all through the years and they realized, oh, this is the man we need to be speaking to, because he does so many things, even outside of entertainment. And that is how the Nigerian brand has helped me. But I had to embrace that brand and hold on to it because I believe in it, using entertainment. If you're watching this and you're not in the UK, you're in Nigeria, you can do a similar thing. You can start from your locality. First, you must have the passion, and then you start to build your brand. It takes time, And I tell people as well that in entertainment, the people will know who are the stars, your Davidos, your Wizkids, your Jimmy Jazz, DJ. They're all on the front line, but they represent less than 1% of the entertainment industry. The larger audience are behind. The producers are behind the scene. The event managers are behind the scene. What am I trying to say? There are other aspects of entertainment you can adopt. You don't have to be on the front. You can also be at the back. It's just like footballers. Why do I say parents should send their children to academies? In Europe, in Holland, Germany, they started it much earlier than the UK, where they started to build academies for footballers. So you join at a young age. But when you join, you are not only playing football, it's like a school. They are looking for other skills you have that you can apply. So you have some people that will not make the grade they will not make the cut as a footballer. They won't make the cut. But they can end up being the team physio. They can end up being the psychologist. There are so many other elements, So if you go to a football academy, well, by the time you come and look at all the Dutch players or the German players, by 21, 22, they have their full coaching badges. Britain just started doing that in the last 10, 12 years, and Nigeria are just here now in the last 5 years now. A lot of that is beginning to happen. So entertainment is not just about the frontliners. They're the minority. There's an ecosystem behind the scene, and everybody can play a role in those different ecosystems and earn a living from it. But one thing that is very, very key is mentorship, especially when they're young. It's always good. As a DJ back in the day, before you start to DJ, you need to join a music system, a sound system, and go around with them. But as technology improved, a lot of those basic equipment that would cost a fortune to buy back in the day, which made us go to the DJs, the older DJs to learn. Now, a lot of people now can just go on Amazon and order and buy and they deliver. But then they deliver the equipment, but they don't have the requisite skill because they've not gone around with it. So a lot of DJs out there now buy their equipment, buy their set, put their names out, but they have very little or no training. So that's another thing now. And that's just talking about DJs. So mentorship is very, very, very important. Find somebody who has succeeded in the trade. And if there are parents that are watching this right now and you see that your child, and that's another challenge. Now, I think in the last few years now, a lot of parents are now beginning to see entertainment or the creative sector as something that their children can adopt. We all cannot be doctors, we all cannot be lawyers, we all cannot be engineers. But I think in the last 10 years to 15 years now, our parents are beginning to see now that the entertainment, the creative sector is looking promising. So even if your children are not studying it formally, maybe they're studying something else, but they're interested, look for somebody who has achieved or who is ingrained in that sector and pass them on to that just for mentorship. That is very, very, very key as well. And I think if everybody, you have the passion, you have parents that are supporting you, particularly when you're young, and you attach yourself to a mentor to hold your hand through that terrain, I think you're probably onto something good at a very early stage. You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Honestly, you've caught me so many times on this today.
That's fine.
Thank you so much, DJ Abass.
Absolutely, sir.
And this is not me trying to big you up just unnecessarily. The fact is I could listen to you all day. Because see, once something is authentic, you can feel it. You do know this person has not just read up before coming on the show. You know that they actually know what they're talking about. And of course, everybody knows that authority on this as far as this is concerned. And I really, really want to thank you for all you do. Based abroad. I want to thank you for all you do to help improve the image of this country. And I do know that the other people. Oh yeah, I've seen that Edwina, and we're gonna go to the questions straight away. Mm-hmm. And I know there is Mr. Richards Jimon too also has a question. So I'm gonna go to all of you. But DJ, I've got to put this on record. Beyond our personal relationship, I want to thank you for everything you're doing for the image of our country.
Thank you, sir.
and all over the world indeed. And thank you for giving those organizations a platform. You sent me tickets for a few of them. I believe it has not allowed us to do a lot more. And I see the quality. I see the happiness on the faces of all these stars that we only see on TV when they come over and they're right there. And I know you've put all this together. You know, I really must say, well done, well done. Please keep it up. Thank you so much. And know that there are thousands and millions, in fact, of kids who are watching you every day, who want to be like you. And maybe it's high time you get something called the DJ Abass Academy or something. But I do actually believe that there are loads of people that are just waiting you to pull them up. You know, they're just on a daily basis. I'm close enough to you to know how much you've helped quite a lot of people. You've helped a lot of us. But I also do, you know, I think Nigeria is calling out for something authentic, not someone who's just looking to make millions out of those artists, make millions out of those, but who wants to actually give them that platform. But I know you might have something to say to that, but I'll just start with the questions. I believe our people are getting impatient and time is actually going as well. So I'll start with, I believe, okay, let's go with Richard's Jimo first, then we go to Eddie's second. And please just use the hand tool if you want to ask a question. We're going to take as many as we can squeeze into the time. Richard's Jimo, let's start with you first. Hello, Richard. Just unmute yourself. Press the unmute button. Okay, let's go with Edwina, please. Edwina, you can have the floor. Hello, Edwina. I believe I've allowed participants to unmute, so you should be able to unmute. Edwina. Okay, let me go to Abidemi Onojobi next. Abidemi Onojobi, you can have the floor. Mr. Abidemi Onojobi. Just unmute yourself.
I don't know, maybe you might need to unmute them. If you click on the top left-hand, the top left-hand corner of their profile, it would ask to unmute.
Oh, okay.
That could be the problem, yeah.
Okay, let me do that. Okay. We just we got Grace Amma. Grace Amma, can you is that the same Grace Amma that we read about in the entertainment news? You know, I'm trying my best there. I believe we've allowed people to unmute, so I think there are quite a few. Stop that out. Let me ask a question. Let me ask DJ Abass. So she's going to restart her device, and you know, so. DJ, I'm just going to take you up on this question. It's vital from, I've heard a few people, and this is a question from our YouTube stream now. Why is it difficult? Why is it difficult for gospel artists in the UK to break through? Most times when we attend shows, it's usually gospel artists from Nigeria that they bring. What is the problem with, I don't know, but that's the way it was structured, gospel artists. So I maybe if I'm trying to second guess the person is probably asking why is the terrain not the same for secular artists as the way it is for, you know, gospel artists that they struggle to a large extent. And now this person is saying, why is it that when the events in the UK, they have to bring gospel artists from Nigeria?
Well, I don't think I get the full thrust. I don't think I'm getting the full thrust of that question. But if I'm to respond, I'll say first and foremost, gospel music is a specialist genre. It's a niche genre. And it's not different from years ago when we used to have a lot of UK-based comedians complain that actually we live in the UK. I'm a promoter. So gospel UK-based comedians will come and say, why are you bringing comedians from Nigeria? You know, why are you not supporting us, we that are here in the UK? And it's not that we don't do that, but see, at the end of the day, people follow the numbers. So if I'm going to do a comedy show and I have Julius Agu, I have AY, I have Basket Mouth, on my bill, they would naturally bring in more numbers, Now, and it took a while. And I remember after a while, certain UK comedians started doing their own shows, investing their own money. And now that story has changed. And the UK-based comedians, we have the likes of Abass, we have the likes of OJB, based in the UK now, who organize their own events now. And they've tested themselves. We are super brands. We have the capacity to bring out people, and they are attending. And that's just using comedy. So when those coming from Nigeria now want to come now, they reach out to them directly. They just don't just add their name to flyers now. They actually know they're going to come with numbers. It's a numbers game. And if I'm going to liken that to gospel, it's not any different. I remember years ago, I'll tell a little story here. Years ago, on the 31st, in fact, Eddie knows me as a DJ, I never organized shows on the 31st. Because the 31st, our people will just go to, or if I was to organize a show on the 31st, our people will go, whatever show you do, 12 o'clock will meet them. You won't have one soul in your venue by midnight. But by 1 a.m., all of them will start to do what? They troop in. So what happened eventually, the churches in the UK, they were no longer doing come and do Happy New Year at our church. They now started having their own end of year event as well. So once people now finish that Happy New Year, they will stay. They will stay for the church's events. I'm not going to name names, but I'm sure some church members are watching me and they know what I'm talking about. And that took that sizable number away from us. And in linking it with the gospel story, a lot of the big churches as well, African churches, when they are having their big events, they bring big African acts from Nigeria or from Africa. That's where the big acts are. Those are the acts that draw the numbers. And you would also have the UK gospel acts and say, why are they not, And remember, the church is a major platform for performers. Now, can you imagine what has happened in the last 1 year where these gospel artists have not been able to have access to churches to perform? Even in Nigeria, though the COVID thing is not as severe in Nigeria as it is over in the UK, but the fact remains that their biggest platform, churches, have been shut down. You get it? Which brings me back to the online thing, available and affordable. Because outside of physical events, a lot of magic has been going on online. What was the possibility of us having this platform we're having if we didn't have available and affordable internet? I can't even stress that much enough. The world is never going to be the same again. After this pandemic, a lot of offices are going to close down. A lot of business is going to move online. And Nigeria would not be able to compete favorably in the world because of that. So the internet should be treated like air, oxygen that we breathe. If the internet is working well, traffic will cut down. If the internet is working well, some types of crime will cut down. That's just the fact. If I know I can do certain things on the internet, why do I have to go out onto the road? So if I can work from home, can you imagine that? Traffic will cut down. So I can't overstress that, but I hope I've been able to answer the question of the gospel, the lady or the gentleman asking about the gospel artist thing.
Thank you so much. I think you have. And let me call up Comrade Shalafayemi next. And the Eddie's was having connection issues, and I've seen bless you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Convener. I want to sincerely appreciate DJ Abass. It's a star that all of us must be willing to associate ourselves with. And like he said, mentorship is key, because where people are not looking at other people who have done well in that field, they are interested in participating. For them, achieving success is mostly difficult. That is why we have people who actually do not imbibe the right culture and the right values that are required for them to excel in either type of any entertainment industry or entertainment they want to venture into. So mentorship is key, and I'm sure we also need to discuss with our convener, because we should also be looking at how to unleash potentials in our country, particularly people who are interested in entertainment, how we can also reach out to them, link them up with people who are ready to and check them, hold their hand for them to get into stardom. And like you said, sir, we only see few actors, and the key players are in the background. And those people also need to be well recognized. And even that sector of industry are where we also need to have enough players, enough people to actually develop themselves, to also maximize the opportunities that are inherent in that. So I actually don't have questions, but I'm also looking at a way in which we can mentor our younger people. We can orientate our parents to let their kids develop and discover their passion early enough. Gone are those days, like you said, where people must force their kids to be doctors, to be engineers. The world is a global village. The world is actually diversifying, and we have many sectors that are even paying off than all those professional courses. So I sincerely want to appreciate you for coming on board, sir. And we'll be looking forward to also learn more and to tap more from your wealth of knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And that's really very, very valuable. And I've been saying, is DJ Abass not the mobile Nigerian entertainment encyclopedia? Yes, he is. Look, at the end of the day, DJ Abass is a name. He's carved that name for himself. And I'm sorry to say, these are times when I see so and so or UK Premier also, and I don't see the name DJ Abass. And I'm saying this not because I know him, but because I've also had this conversation with several as well. And it does appear a bit strange, coming forward. And really, I've been to one or two, and the quality. In fact, there was one I went to, the crowd, even the crowd control alone was just, it was so chaotic. And the next thing was like, you were so fearful about, but I also understand that, at times people try to cut down on cost, and it's always one of the bane in Nigeria, So I've got a question, DJ. Okay. Uchendu, please, can you rephrase this question, please? If you want to rephrase the question. I've seen Alfredo trying to unmute to ask a question. Alfredo, you can go ahead, please. You can go ahead now. I've just had quite a lot of people who have signified, but at the same time, it does appear that we're struggling a bit.
I think what you need to do is, like I said, is you need to put your cursor on that profile, and then it would ask you to unmute them.
I've actually done that, but I think that quite a lot of
Have you done it for Alfredo?
Yeah, I've done it for Alfredo as well. I think it's a connection problem. So, because once I try that, then the next thing is they go out and they try to come back in again. Okay. Alfredo, I've clicked on mute, asked to unmute. I've clicked on that. Okay, we'll just move ahead. Uchendu, please, can you rephrase your question? So I'm going to call on Kole Odutola, if he doesn't want to unmute, please. Kole Odutola.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. DJ Abass.
You're so kind, sir.
For the wonderful talk and presentation you did. And the convener, this is a very laudable project as well. Platform for liberation, is it? Of democracy. I think it's a very novel idea, but I don't really have a question for DJ, because I mean, we meet in the Holy Cathedral of entertainment on Fridays. We are just on break, but because I know that, and I know that entertainment has a role to play in development. And when you disaggregate it onto the question of culture, You know, what kind of identity do you foresee Nigerians in the diaspora projecting when they're outside of the country? Is there a really Nigerian identity that is coalescing outside of Nigeria? If that is so, what is the nature of that identity that Nigerians are known for? Let me just leave it at that, because I know you can handle that.
Okay. Thank you very much. And for those who don't know, Dr. Kole Odutola is a lecturer of Yoruba in the United States of America. Is a don of culture, done so many papers. He's a guru, and he's thrown a very, very powerful question at me. What is the Nigerian diaspora is estimated at anything between 12 and 20 million, first generation. And it could be more. The second generation, the third generation, and we have Nigerians, I believe every nation of the earth, the 202 nations of the earth, we have Nigerians everywhere. So the Nigerian diaspora is huge. The Nigerian diaspora is a nation in itself. That's how I see it. We don't have the right to vote in the motherland, but the Nigerian diaspora is so powerful. The Nigerian diaspora contributes, as of 2018-2019 statistics, $225 billion in remittances. That is more than what we made from oil, and you can quote me. And that is what they could track through remittances. We probably have the same amount of money from the undocumented movement as well. So the Nigerian diaspora is powerful. And if you look at the dynamism of the Nigerian diaspora, particularly over the last 30 years, and this is answering this question in terms of identity, what has happened? In 1991, when I got into the UK, the dominant, visible, prevailing, recognizable Black culture was Caribbean. You had to be either Jamo, excuse the pun, West Indian. Either you had a gold tooth, you ate rice and peas, you listened to reggae, you had dreadlocks. Those were the cool indices to be a Black man or woman. In fact, there were a lot of Nigerians then who you would see, they would never admit to being Nigerian. They rather admit to being Caribbean. This was 30 years ago. What has happened between 30 years and now? What has happened is certain cultural indices, Nigerian cultural indices, started coming to the fore and started with the food. And then Nollywood, soft power, our music, it started becoming popular. I feel very proud to say I'm part of that generation that helped lay that tracks in creating platforms that a lot of our people had access to. And that way their children jumped on it. No matter how much your phone be, if you come out of a Nigerian home, you have eaten pounded yam, you have eaten apple. But within that younger generation, because that is the more dynamic culture, remember, they are the ones that have the English friends. They are the ones that have the Welsh friends. They are the ones that have the white American friends. And they are the ones now that now started imbibing this culture musically and started handing it over to their friends. This, and I use that 30-year window because that is what I can track within my generation. Within that 30 years right now, it has come to the point that one of my greatest fears back then, which was like, well, am I going to have children who are not probably going to be going to Nigeria as often enough, and they won't have the opportunity to be able to adopt and adapt Nigerian culture? Our culture in music, in fashion, in movies, has done that. It's been unbelievable. I always say there's this African cultural revolution going around the world right now, and it is spearheaded by Nigerian culture. So in answering your question, I think right now it's safe to say that Just a couple of weeks there, just a couple of months ago in America, where you live, I'm sure you heard about the whole the videos that went viral, the pounded yam and egusi viral video, where everybody was now going to Nigerian restaurants across America to buy pounded yam and egusi, and some had to wait 2 hours at different restaurants across. That is soft power. But do you know the impact of that culturally? We're not just talking Nigerians right now. So how is our culture? What is the look and shape of our culture outside of Nigeria? I think there's now a different global international look and feel to it that keeps evolving. But you see that everything is now linking up. We are no longer hearing of 419 like we used to right now. Now we're just hearing all the positives, all tied to our culture. And now you have a lot of non-Nigerians adopting it. I know so many African girls who just want to have weddings so that they can have a Nigerian wedding. Do you know how beautiful that is? You know, and I've always been the one that I'm a believer in our culture. So I hope this last 5 or 8 minutes I've used to explain this would kind of convinces you. I believe that our culture going forward is safe. It's been adopted. We're having a different look, and all that is being powered by the Nigerian diaspora, which really should be the 37th state of Nigeria. Unmute yourself, sir. Please unmute yourself today.
Oh, you know what? In fact, I should actually pay you for the amount of times you remember.
£10 for every time.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, I cannot pay your bill. I cannot pay, you know.
You'll be surprised, though. I have GTB account.
So someone has asked a question about intellectual property rights, and we'll come to that. I'm just trying to see if you can, so that pack a few things and so that we can finish in the next 15 minutes by 8:45 by God's grace, so that we can release you, sir. Now, we've got this question from Uchendu Okpala. I am an HR head of my company. We want to do campaign, but we're based in Nigeria and want to enter into UK market.
Yes.
What for you to take it on, sir?
Okay, what I've done is I've added my email address there, and you can send an email after this, or if you have my number, you can send that. Maybe the convener can pass my number on. But yes, you can reach out to me via email there, and that's part of what we do. That's what my company do. We connect the motherland to the diaspora. And that connection is very, very important. We keep building that. I remember. 2007, January 9, I had my birthday in Nigeria. And I remember Olu Maintain attended and he gave me a says, Baba, this song is blowing up. Tolu is playing it in Ibadan. It's already big in Ibadan, but I want to take it to the UK. Have it. That's Yauze, 2007, January. I brought that CD to the UK and we started, kicking it. Back then, a hit song in Nigeria would take between 5 and 6 months to blow up in the UK. And it would take 2 years to blow up in America. That was the number. Today, if a song drops today in Nigeria and it's hit, by nighttime, it's around the world. One, the internet. Back to the internet. Social media. So social media has breached a lot of gap. Today, there are so many diasporan kids who were born in the UK, born in the States, returning to Nigeria. A lot of parents are always worried and say, oh, they never go, but some of these kids are making the moves themselves, because they've been able to forge relationships across the pond, anchored in the belief in this modern urban culture, urban Nigerian culture we're talking about, in terms of the music, in terms of Nollywood, and that's what they see. Those are the things that entice them at that age, and you see Ghana doing very, very well. You can see what the Ghanaian government is doing clearly to encourage that shift. They celebrated the year of the return last year, and they're targeting 400,000 Americans to return to Ghana. And they're trying to create an enabling environment. That is what Nigeria should be doing. We should be doing that. Do you get it? Do we have the tools to make it happen? Absolutely. I believe the Nigerian diaspora is a powerhouse, and it's one of the most, maybe if you take away the Jewish diaspora and maybe the Indian diaspora. The Nigerian diaspora is right up there. It's very, very powerful. We have the numbers. We are dynamic. And you need to put it to use. You need to do more. Not just lip service. They need to do more. And once they start to do that, you see the difference, and we can see that already happening in Ghana.
Thank you so much, sir. That's really, really very, very brilliant. I'm so happy that I mean, the whole idea of this is to hear you out, to speak to someone out there. We are an organization that is committed to the transformation of Nigeria and building up of youths, and not just youths, but citizens that can actually make that impact, that can make that difference. And also we're also trying to help them to go for it in life, whatever it is that interests them, just give it a go, so. And I'm happy quite a lot of what we've been speaking about tonight, I've actually been speaking to that narrative. So if we read some of the comments here, Abass, my question. Okay. Let's Rosa. Let's have Rosa ask the question. Just might want to add one or two other things to it. Rosa, unmute yourself. Hello, Rosa. I'm convinced.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yes.
Hello, Rosa is the
Ambassador. Yes.
Rosa is the Yajo at our inner caucus. Yajo of the inner sanctum.
Today was very interesting. I had to juggle 3 Zoom events.
Oh dear. But you're here.
Yeah, but I'm here. Yes, thankfully. Yes, my question is on intellectual property.
Yeah.
This is not actually unique to Nigeria.
Indeed.
I was privileged to get information that apparently so many of our R&B, hip hop, soul artists in America are not owners of their own, what they call masters.
Mm-hmm.
So I now thought to myself, how can this be possible? You're looking at people like Gladys Knight, Chaka Khan. Then people have linked that to this recent demise of DMX. Apparently that's one of the issues that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And people are telling me some of these deaths are not actually natural.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we come to the Nigerian context, there's the issue of piracy. I don't even think we are even at the level of that master's ownership yet. I don't think our own,
because our structure is slightly different, yeah.
Yes. So even the little bit of the intellectual property is like both the artists and the consumers I don't even think people even understand that it actually exists. I have some young ones in this new second generation, the millennials, who actually studied intellectual property law. You can't believe that these young ones can't even get jobs because it's like in the Nigerian market, they look at, you're a lawyer, okay, what do you specialize in? Intellectual property? You mean you went to university to study that aspect of law? When everything we know here is criminal or commercial in Nigeria or family, basically. So how does this education have to be passed on? It's linked to the question or to the statement I made in one of your evenings where I said, Nigerians find it difficult to conceptualize and to quantify services.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I can join that to this as well.
I think that's a very powerful question you just asked. When I was responding to one of the questions by the moderator, I did say that passion is not enough. You also have to learn how to make money, and you learn the business of your trade. Learning the business of your trade is so key. A lot of the older generation made mistakes. I'm sure, Rosa, you're familiar with the fight between King Sunny Ade and Abioro, and today you realize that you hear more evergreen songs released by Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey, but you don't hear as many from King Sunny Ade, because most of the masters from that the first phase of his career were owned by Abioro, who is late now, and even till today his children would not, because Sunny has tried to get it back, they would not hand it over. A lot of them signed contracts at a time when they were not familiar with the business. Obey luckily was signed to Decca, and I have it on a good authority that he ultimately bought Decca when Decca folded up. So Obey owns his masters. So you hear more. It is not a coincidence that you hear more artists doing remixes of Obey songs than Sonny's songs. Do you get it?
And Sonny, right?
Because the most of that song, and later, you know, in the
so we have that issue of that master's ownership here in Nigeria as well.
Because back in the day, they produced back in the dark days, the manager would just come and say, "Hey, do this for me, do that for me, just sign here, and we'll pay you for it." But they owned the masters. So Abiro's family owned the masters for that first generation. So later, Sonina from Eriokon, I believe, or just before Eriokon. If you know, you know, from that era, I think Sonina created his own label, and then ownership started from there. So most of the stuff he made, you would hear, is from then. All the Merciful God, everything came after that. All the classics, Journey to Magbadunitie, all those classics were owned by the Abiro. And really, they are not doing anything with it. They're just sitting on it. Do you get it? So, and now let's fast forward to today. Even the artists, the big artists today, they need mentorship. The big artists, they need mentorship. Because some of them still don't understand, you know, and without saying too much, a lot of them are learning, but the percentage that actually are beginning to know what they should know, because really that's not their job. And this is why when you have the right team around you, if you look at
that's why I'm asking about the lawyers, the intellectual property lawyers. That's their job.
See, if you look at
no connectivity.
Intellectual property, right? The education of it starts with, because I saw your question, you talked about the consumer, you talked about the artist. You see, in the order of things, the consumer doesn't know anything. The consumer has his money or her money. She wants to buy, and if it's available, they buy. End of. Really. Now, the practitioner, the artist, the practitioner are the ones that really should know. So I'm releasing this song. What happens in the music industry in Nigeria? Now, you have the artists. Some artists, like you have some artists who are like supermen. They write their own songs. They produce their own songs, and they sing their own songs. Wahala, their own wahala is not plenty. They are pretty much doing everything. Their own wahala could be if they now need to tie international deals. If they need to tie international deals, they need to be sitting down with intellectual property lawyers who understand those things. But within their domestic, basically, they are okay. They can write their own songs. They can produce their own songs. They can do a lot of things themselves. Now, if it's just an artist that can sing, because what happens, what they call record labels in Nigeria, somebody creates a label and they say, okay, John P can sing. Oh yeah, John P, come. You need to come and we want you to be singing. We had one song you did though, you know. So they get John P, a writer, but they get John P to sign a contract. So the standard average contract in Nigeria is a 2-album deal. So you sign 2-album deal over 5 years, whichever comes first. Do 2 albums for us. And there's a 5-year contract window. Don't know which plan you are tied to us. And most of those contracts, the person signing you owns whatever you are producing. That is there. And what do? They can say, we'll give you 2 million or 3 million naira. We'll give you a flat, you know, for 2 years. And we'll give you a flat, we'll pay for your flat, we'll give you a car, and maybe give you a lump sum of 2 million. To a new up-and-coming artist that has talent, that doesn't know better, that is heaven. It is heaven. But then they release the album, and somewhere in that journey, they start to realize really their true worth. But they have chains on their hands at this stage now. Because you still have to release that second album, and you are tied for 5 years. And if you can, and now things are getting better now, you can't walk away from contracts. So most of the time when you hear about contract disputes, most people don't know what has been signed. And a lot of people now bring in emotion. It is not a matter of emotion. Because that person that signed, the average record label can have 10 artists on the label. They are taking risks too. And if they have 10 artists, maybe only one. At times, in their world, they only need 1 or 2 to blow for them to recoup all their investment. So that other 8 that you don't know, they've already been given 2 or 3 million naira or 5 million naira, whatever. They have accommodation for 2 years. They've been given a car. They probably will not make anything from them. In fact, if it's possible for them to tear their contract and just get them out of it, they would. But that one that has blown up, who is now frustrated? Because they also take a percentage of their earnings. Don't forget that. So if they take a percentage of their performance in some of those deals, because they will tell you, no, we are the one kitting you up now. We bought you house. We have a budget for wardrobe we are giving you, and we give you advance. Advance is not your money. Advance is not your money. It's to keep you sweet till the real income starts to come. So you see some of them, when they realize that after 1 year, they say, how come why have we not upgraded this? They say, no, all that period, all that Versace that we gave you for that video that you said you wanted to do on the Atlantic beach with all those 6 big booty girls and all those things. This is how much it cost us. We have to recoup all that money back first before you start to go into profit. You should go and check out TLC and the contract they signed and what they had to deal with. So what would have worked better is, imagine if any of those artists, maybe they had parents who just kind of like speak with somebody in the business before they even start and say, look, you know what, how can you help us with this? We don't know how this thing works. And then we hand them over to somebody who knows how to, first you establish the talent, and then say, okay, maybe somebody has given them a contract. Let's look at your contract. We look at it and say, no, this one cannot work. This thing that they're saying they'll do, don't worry. Mommy and daddy, you should invest. Put money in this one. Put money in this. Because you're only as good as what you come with. So if a record label is dealing with an act that has nothing out there, the risk is greater. But if that person has already done something of note, you tie a better deal. But more importantly, you need to understand. George Michael signed as an 18-year-old. He signed a contract in a breakfast lounge on a toilet roll, on a piece of toilet, on a napkin. He signed a 10-year contract on a napkin. That contract almost killed him. And he had to honor the contract. That was when they were in Wham. He had to honor the contract. 10 years. Tony Braxton, another example. So that's international. In Nigeria, things work slightly differently, because what happens oftentimes is the artists at times go to the producers and say, you know what, I want this beat. I want to buy it outright. So how much? Do beat for me. How much? They buy it and then own it outright. So at a certain level of the industry, you don't have a lot of those disputes because they are buying up. But if I'm a producer, I would not sell a beat outright. I would take a percentage in cash and leave a percentage in investment. Because if that song blows up and now becomes nominated as a Grammy song, what happens? And that's another thing, they need the education into intellectual property, particularly the practitioners. It's very, very important, because Nigeria is getting to that stage now, but we are not at the promised land yet.
Wow, I am very mindful of time, so I'm just going to, because I know that Comrade Bidemi Onojobi wants to, and I want to thank you, Rosa, for that. I can see all the comments that has generated. Thank you so much. It's even, I feel really enlightened tonight. And DJ, I want to plead with you. I know you're really busy. We really need to bring you back.
Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
But all these things you talked about, the rights and the masters, and trust me, I'm sure there are loads of people that this is like Greek. It's like Greek to them. And I want to take you up on this, because you made mention of all these artists who are just coming, who have no one to advise them. What about Paul McCartney? Up till he's had a lot of fight with the Michael Jackson estates to even get his own rights back. One cannot say Paul McCartney of the Beatles did not have advisors and all things.
In answering that question, now, Michael Jackson bought the entire rights to the Beatles when he was alive, and by the time he died, that thing had kind of like quadrupled in value. Now, make no mistake, he bought the rights. They sold the rights to him. Now, he was smart. He saw things in advance, and there was perhaps a bit of, industry gymnastics that happened in that mix as well. But the fact remains that as at the time it was sold to him, it was owned by the Beatles. And they sold it. So that was a bad business decision. Don't let us mistake that for bad business knowledge. It was a bad business decision. Because having said that, Michael could have bought that thing and the thing becomes valueless. It's possible. That's very, very possible. So basically, that was a bad deal. Ooh. That was a bad deal. And that's what happened there. Not necessarily a bad. It wasn't a bad. It was a bad business decision on the part of the estate of the Beatles, and a great one by Michael Jackson's. Do you get it? But not necessarily a bad decision in terms of the business side of things.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I've still seen a few. I've seen a couple of questions on Facebook, but when DJ comes back next time, we'll take some of these. We'll take some of these things. Okay. Rosa says same with me. Well, Lord alleged that's why MJ died and due to the industry gymnastics. So that's another development, another angle. I mean. So let's go with you, Comrade Abidemi Onajobi. You're the last person we'll be taking for questions tonight, and then we get the vote of thanks, and then we close the session tonight. Abidemi Onajobi, unmute yourself, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Convener. Good evening, DJ Abass.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. It's been quite an enlightening session, and it's been interesting one. Basically, I think there has been a major issue around supports for the entertainment industry, particularly in Nigeria. And I think Rosa mentioned the part of the legal supports, yes, where even the environment is not so mature. And we also know that the government has found it difficult to support. Yes, partly people say that the government in Nigeria like the easy business, like oil. Someone is just getting the oil, they just get commission off it. Unlike other sectors that are difficult to mine the value out of it. My constituency is banking, and for some time now, have had this, we've had this interest in supporting the entertainment industry, but we find it difficult. Some of the things you have mentioned today has really shown that it's a very, very risky area, as you say. So how do you think financiers can better support this sector with the risk and also contract and all these intricacies that you have mentioned tonight?
Thank you very much, Mr. Onajobi. You're a banker, so I'm sure you're familiar with the bank of industry. And what has the Bank of Industry in Nigeria been doing over the last few years? They've been trying to support. They started with film, trying to support the film industry through grants. In the UK, where we live, the arts is a sector that needs to be supported. Why do they support the arts in the UK? They realize and understand the value and importance of the arts to the society at large. And the chances are the arts would not be able to sustain itself. They have realized that. And that's why they have institutions like the Arts Council to come and see what different sectors of the arts would need from time to time, help them source funding. What do arts people need? They need venues. So there are certain specific venues they make available and reduce costs, They different times of the year, different things come up, and they have budgets from borough to borough, both national and local, to support the arts. Because if you don't keep your arts alive, it's a very, very important part of your cultural identity. And the Bank of Industry, I believe, is trying to borrow something from such organizations around the world, making grants available, and they've done a lot of that in Nollywood. We can come back and say, have they been able to execute that effectively? That's another conversation. But they have opened that window, and they try to help support the arts. Now, as bankers, bankers this is a business. You put in money, you must get it back somehow. So you must show viability. But see, in the arts, particularly in film or music, it's always a toss of a coin. It is always a toss of a coin. However, the good thing about it is what they can do is invest in structures. So if you look at the cinema industry right now, as opposed to just investing in movies, you can say, okay, you know what? We have a cinema industry that's just beginning to come back. Nigeria has less than 150 screens. I didn't say 150 cinemas, I said 150 screens across Nigeria, in a nation of 200 million people plus. So an investment that would make sense is an investment in screens. Obviously, as a security, why did the first generation Nigerian cinema industry die? It got to a point where people could not go out at night anymore. We all grew up with your Penn Cinema, I grew up in Port Harcourt at that stage, so I went to Central Cinema, Plaza Cinema. In Lagos, you have Penn Cinema, you have all those cinemas, and they all started dying one by one when nightlife, in fact, the plush cinema to go to back then was the National Arts Theatre. And anybody who's old enough will realize the DJAMEDIA or the Orumo Abass, they all were shown at the National Theatre. Those were like the highbrow at the time. But gradually, that sector died because of night crime. And then when things started getting better, the new generation multiplexes started coming up, And just during this pandemic, Funke Akindele Bello's Omogeto Reloaded grossed over 700 million naira. It is the highest grossing movie ever by a Nigerian in Nollywood. During the pandemic, and that is just with less than 150 screens. So imagine if every state of the federation or every city in every state of the federation, we have 774 local government areas. Let's say every local government had one screen, one cinema. One. You look at America. When James Bond releases, you hear like that. This weekend, though, 6,000 cinemas in America. 6,000 cinemas. Multiply that by maybe like 7 screens or 8 screens. And then when you hear that on the opening weekend, between Friday and Sunday, a film grossed 150 million just on the opening weekend. A lot of that success is down to your marketing network and the distribution network and the availability of exhibition centers. So if we are saying 150 screens in Nigeria, you see that we have not even scratched the surface. So I would hope that a more viable investment in the cinema sector for banks would be to look at the possibility of investing in screens. That is a safer bet, and that's the way to help. Invest in academies. These are things that would, in fact, even in terms of CSR, corporate social responsibility for the bank, those are great things to look at, So I would not necessarily advise them to invest in the next Davido direct, no, because that is always a roll of the dice. But you can invest in certain structures within the industry. And I think that would be a better way. And a good way to get experts from within the sector, bring them to start to work for the bank to help you nurture and grow that sector. I think that would be a good way going forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The comments are fine. I can see quite a lot, and it's been such a wonderful one. And I've sat on this seat several times, and I know and we've had very, very good chats on the social media. We've had very good participation internally. Today has been on one of the top scales. It's been really, really massive. And I want to thank everybody for the participation tonight. I'm going to try my best to see if I can just mention, I know at least about 20 or more people have had to go. And I know because of our, usually we run strictly 6 to 8, but because we started with DJ Abass at about, I believe, 7:15 or thereabout. That's why we've extended. And I want to apologize to all those who have had to stay with us. But I know you also stayed because it's been of great quality tonight, and we do not take it for granted. I want to thank you, Comrade Abidemi Onajobi, our Director of Budget. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you. Thank you to my Secretary General, always there all the time, Comrade Shola Fayemi. Want to thank all those who are here. Want to thank Annie, Baby Balo, Dapojo, Efon, Eniola Alayode, Folashake Ashake. I love the way this lady has written that name. It's got all the marks, marks in that language. Folashade Ashake. It's so fantastic.
Thank you. Well done, DJ Abass. You invited me.
Hi there, Folashade. How you doing?
Yeah.
Very well.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you with us, Folashade Ashake. It's such a fantastic thing having you joining us. God bless you. And that's a very beautiful woman. I love the Nigerian and everything. God bless you. Thanks for
take time or don't they pass your elbow?
I apologize to
no problem.
Me too, Wi-Fi, make a show video.
It is called Onibarambo Lebo.
And remember, the conference is being recorded, though.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So I want to thank Eniola Alayode, Professor Dr. Kola Odutola. DJ, please, you actually tickled my fancy with Dr. Kola Odutola, the Yoruba professor in United States. We would want to have you on this show one of these days because those are some of the values. One of the things I realized is I'm not joking about this. I realized that some of our kids in the UK and US, they actually understand a bit more Yoruba than Nigeria. I've gone to Nigeria on visits and children born and bred there, I'll be speaking Yoruba to them and they'll be looking at me like I'm from Mars.
It's
so
scary.
We're losing that value. And yet you see the Asians here, it doesn't matter who you are in their household, you must speak their language. The kids must speak their language. So I'm really interested. So, sir, we'll be looking to bring you at your convenience. Dr. Kola Odutola, God bless you, sir. We've got Larry D, we've got Luke Tikare, we've got Mandage, we've got Maria, we've got, of course, my director of training, Senator Olu Messi. Thanks for joining us. And our deputy provost of our training institute, Ms. Oluwaseun Olabintan, thanks for joining us and staying with us till the end. Rosa, we want to thank you. Sarah, we want to thank you. Ellen Sawyer, we want to thank you. Uchendu Okpala, we also want to thank you. DJ Abass, today is our Secretary General, his son actually, today is his birthday. Please, if you don't mind, sir, can you do a shout out to his little son on his birthday today, sir?
What's his son's name?
Sekjen, can you unmute?
And how old is his son?
Sekjen, I know it's been...
Yes, sir. Yes. The boy is Obalolua and he's 7 years old.
So Obalolua is 7 today. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
I wish him a happy birthday and the very best in whatever endeavor he has. And hopefully, I'm inviting you this Friday to the Inner Caucus. So the convener will share details with you, and it's on every Friday night, and we can celebrate on a grander scale on Friday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We're really, really grateful to have you in our midst.
My pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
We're looking to seeing you again. And DJ Abass, please, sir, I just want to say to you, all the things you're doing, all the great things, please do not stop doing them. A lot of look up to you. A lot of us get that inspiration. And I like the particular fact that, look, there are people who met me abroad. And when I try to speak Nigerian language to them, and I know that they met me here, and it was Yoruba they were speaking before they came out there, to even identify with the country is a problem. And they go like they can't even speak the language. But in your own case, you have gone on that level, you have continued to project this image, this Nigerianness. Please do not stop it, sir. Sir, if you have a card for this Friday thing, can you just flash it here? Have you got one with you there?
Okay, what can I do? Okay, what I'll do is I'll pop a number on screen right now.
Okay.
And it's a UK number, and it's very simple. All you have to do is just send me your WhatsApp number to this number, and that's in the chat room. Do a screenshot of that number, and all that you need to know will be forwarded to you within the next 24 hours.
Okay, so that's zero.
It's in the chat room. I've already put that in the chat room already. Yeah.
Thank you so much, DJ Abass. So look at it in the chat room. And Ola Lion Day is doing a shout out to my second's son as well. Since my birthday, mate, happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Somebody has actually, Dr. Colley has actually shared the link as well, so you can just screenshot that, copy that, and boom. Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Colley, and thanks also, Bibi Balo.
Okay. If you just give me a second, I know we know we are closing the meeting, but I just want to snip this, and just so that we can put dates on the.
And shout out to Larry D as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. So everybody, we already have this in the chat. Join DJ Abass, and the link is there, and it's every Friday night. Let me just put it on this, and then we close the meeting for tonight. Really appreciate everyone. So that's it.
Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure, and in fact, coming to this, I was thinking, okay, how do we go? But I'm glad I had the opportunity to actually, because I always use myself. I always tell my story. It's the only way I can get the word out. Just tell my own story, how it worked for me, and then how others can also apply that to their lives. And we need a lot of platforms like this, where those of us who have had the opportunity to navigate that very, very muddy water have been able to. We can use that opportunity on platforms like this to get the word out. You know, parents are very important. They're very powerful, and maybe those are the ones that will listen more to us these days. But they can also pass that information up to their words so that we don't hear all these stories that come, all these negative stories that come in entertainment years later. You know, when you even hear the likes of 70, 80-year-old artists who are struggling to get what should be rightfully theirs. So thank you very much for making the opportunity available.
Thank you so much, DJ Abass.
Yes,
Cross Platinum, we're looking to have you back very, very soon.
No problem at all.
And please, sir, we want to, as people call Dr. Colley Odutola.
I will send his details to you now. No problem.
Thank you so much. Everyone, we wish you a fantastic week ahead. Thanks for joining Platform for Liberty and Democracy. We'll return same time next week with Dr. Adeoye Oyewole, head of Department of Psychiatry, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology Teaching Hospital, Oshogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. Dr. Adeoye Oyewole will be taking the second part of the cultural theory discourse, and that will be from 6 to 8 p.m. next week, Sunday. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Have a fantastic week ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.